Welcome back to the Frugal Gardener's Garden. We finally got a decent day here in the garden. I am the Frugal Gardener. I garden in Zone 7A, and that is in the hills of West Virginia. So today we are going to do some harvesting. So that's why I'm calling this my mini harvest, because it's not going to be a full video on harvesting, but it's also going to be some updates on what has been happening around here. It's not a tour, it's an update. But before this video is over, I'm going to show you guys something. I normally say show you something that you may not have seen or have rarely seen, but in this case I'm fairly confident when I say something you have never seen. This is something that I ended up I don't want to call it a creation, but it involves obviously these egg crates and what's inside. And what's inside is what you most likely have in your house already. So you're not going to have to spend a lot of money on it. And that is going to be coming up. I just saw a bee. That's part of what I want to talk to you guys about, because I'm starting to see them frequently now. Look at all the buds on this pot of cucumbers. Okay, so let's get started with the first harvest, and we will work our way up to here. Okay, so this is what I call a happy accident. I actually harvested these a couple of days ago. These are the golden beets. I have grown the red beets. That was probably 10 years ago. This was supposed to have been starters. That's why these are small, because the original goal was to plant these in this shallow container and then move them into a bigger area once they got bigger. They took so long to germinate, I'd actually forgotten about them. So I planted something else in there and just kind of got busy with the other gardens. And then when they started growing, I originally thought this was spinach, and I realized it wasn't spinach. So at this point, these are probably not going to get much bigger. So I'm going to harvest the rest of these and use this container probably to grow onions. So this is pretty much it. I got another decent one out of here, and the rest are kind of small. And I'll take these in and wash those off, and they'll probably be used in salads. So I still have the green beans over here that I'm going to harvest today, and I'll come back to those in a minute. And I also have I have a bunch of lettuce way up here that I'm going to get to before this video is over. So I spent a lot of time, probably too much time, on the critters, on the intruders, invaders, whatever you want to call them, that's been coming in here, disrupting what I've been planting. And I spent almost no time talking to you guys about the successes. This garden that, again, I'm not sure how many of you guys are here for the first time. If you are, welcome to the first timers, and for the people who have been here for a while. I appreciate you coming and watching these videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because there is so much going on. This is the most I've had going on since I've been up here in this homestead. And the purpose, there's a bee right there. The purpose of this garden was out of necessity. I'm going to be brief for those of you who have seen this garden before. This is 40 feet long. This is half. This is about 20 feet. And I had to do something, because for the past couple of summers, I have not had bees. I have not had butterflies. I have not had birds. And lately, I've had all three. So I would say this was a success. I did a lot of research, and I worked hard to bring them in. Wasn't sure if it was going to work. Wasn't sure if it was going to happen. And it has. Almost everything you see in here is a result of the research that I have done. This water feature here, this water bath over here for the birds. This feeder here, I just came across a robin's nest, which I have not seen robins up here before. These guys, there's about, I counted 9 for sure, different species, varieties of birds. There's probably more than 9. So I just refilled this, so they'll be coming by pretty soon. And over here, my crown jewel, this is where the hummingbirds come. And that really surprised me because I'm not originally from West Virginia. I didn't know if they had hummingbirds or not. They congregate up here in these trees here, and they practically live in this area. I showed you this earlier. So it is working. I would not have been able to create this last year. I grew, this is, as I mentioned, these are cucumbers. I grew 6 squash blossoms. I watched them grow from seed. I watched the blossoms come, and I watched them die. They died because they were not pollinated. Now I know people say, oh, you can pollinate them by hand, just get down on your knees, and no. I am past that point. I am to the age where I'm not going to be getting on my knees just to pollinate something. So this is my answer to that. And it's a work in progress because, yes, I still do have to deal with the in-ground stuff. The goal was not to have all of these pots. I was just going to have a line of pots, and then I was going to plant in ground. But because of the critter situation that I'm not going to go into right now, I ended up not being able to do much here. This is not abandoned. I will get to this at some point. But I just basically brought in more pots. I have so many. I've been growing in pots for so many years. You can look here and see the Jamaican sorrel, and everything else, there's a butterfly. So I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. This needs some work down this end. This is where I spend most of my time. And so now, before we go into my little surprise tip, hack, whatever you want to call it, let's go to the next harvest. Well, it's time to harvest some beans. These are bush beans, to be exact. I actually have pole beans behind me up in the garden. This is an exciting time for me because this particular method of gardening, using these crates, had not been working out for me here. It worked out for me well at the other property. And this is the first year, the first summer, that I've actually been able to get a decent harvest of anything from out here. And I think that's in part because the heat reflecting off of the siding and because of the weather we've been having. So if I came out here earlier and harvested these a week or two earlier, I probably would be able to get a second harvest, but the heat was horrendous. It was in the 90s every day. So I'm happy and I'm grateful for what I do have. I do see a couple of buds here. So it's harvest time in the Frugal Gardener's garden. Let me get started. Okay, so I decided to leave some of the smaller ones. And as I said, there are some buds that are still coming up. So I'll be coming back to this in a couple of weeks and seeing what else I can harvest. This is not the largest that I've had. These are kind of mid-size, but I'm grateful for what I have. So these are the beans, these are the beets, and it's on to the lettuce, which I'm really excited about because those, they really took off. So that's it from here. Time to move on. I'm really surprised at how much I've been able to harvest off of these lettuce. You can see some of them are turning because I haven't been able to get out here. We've gone from a heat wave into days and days and days of rain, and now we're going back to the heat wave as I have mentioned. So I'm going to harvest as much of this as I can today, And I also have a little bit over here to harvest and add that to what we already have. And then it's going to probably be another couple of weeks because these potatoes are technically ready. These potatoes should be ready for harvest on the 15th, but I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait beyond the 15th because I can, and because sometimes if you wait a little longer, you get a little more, and also because you guys, I get messages. I get, excuse me, messages from you guys saying, "Oh, you harvested too soon. Oh, the leaves are still green. Oh, you should wait." And sometimes I do harvest or either on time or maybe even a little bit early because I want to reuse these containers. There's one here. This is the second one. And the third one is way down the other end. So I have 3 containers of potatoes. I also have potatoes planted in my raised garden, which is down that way. So because of the fact that we're not even at mid-July yet, we're approaching mid-July, I should be able to reuse these containers. These are pretty large, so they're actually bins. People call them totes. I don't know which is the correct pronunciation, which is the correct name, but they work. They work for me for years. And the frugal nephew, I have several now. The frugal preacher nephew, he actually pastors his own church. He is now using totes to grow in, and I'm happy to welcome him to my gardening family. So that's another story. That's a story for another video. But right now, I'm going to harvest these and add these to what we have. And guess who's having salad tonight? So here we are. This is what I decided to leave. This is still growing. I think this is going to start bolting pretty soon. So I have a backup. I have another one over here. But for now, I'm going to just leave these because I don't want to take too much and then just have it sit around the house. But this is the haul. This is nice. This is actually, in my view, better than the first 2. So this is going to do well. I'll take these in, wash these up, clean them up, and add them to the salad. So when I was talking to you guys earlier about the things that I did to draw the birds and the bees and the butterflies into the garden, I forgot to mention these guys. This was my plan B. The original idea was to plant these in the ground. And I did. And that's when I had the first issue with the critters. So I don't give up pretty easy. And that's when I decided to switch to these containers. Why? Because the containers are free. I already paid for them when I bought the cream. And you'll see those pretty much everywhere. Here's 2 more. And I decided to kind of get creative, even more creative. So my favorite color, I'm growing a bunch in here. And I have at least 3 more of these. This is getting ready to bud here. I have at least 3 more of these that that are coming up. They're on the porch right now. I like to protect them. I like to keep them close where I can water them because they have to be watered at least once a day until they actually start to bloom like they're doing now. Now, I don't know if I should just post a link or show you in the next video which flowers I'm using. These were hand selected. They are supposed to be deer resistant, and they are perennial, which means that they're going to come back again next year, year after next. So I won't have to plant those. Maybe I can plant them in the ground. This is the mess over here. This was the original spot where they were supposed to have gone. Obviously that didn't work out this year, but this I will tend to. It was just taking up too much of my time right now. And this is the same as that, except for, as you can see, it's a lot larger. So that's that. Now, as promised, I have these crates here, and it ties into what I've been talking about. That is keeping the critters out of your yard. You may not have them now, but at some point, you're going to have moles, voles, chipmunks, field mice. Like I mentioned to you in a previous video, there's a field right across the road from me. They come over here. I have literally seen them squeeze through under this fence. Yes, I could probably close that off and they'll just find another way in. They're pretty small. The problem is I've killed about 7 or 8 of these, or should I say that? Whoops. Well, I eliminated about 7 or 8 of these suckers and they just keep coming. I don't have all summer to keep dealing with them and keep replanting. It is middle of July just about. So what I decided to do was come up with a way to deter them, but permanently. And that's what I have here. You might be saying, what is this? Well, this is red pepper. It is chili powder and also garlic powder. So there's a bee. I appreciate the bees, but not while I'm trying to film. And I am happy for them. I actually saw 4 at once, and that made me happy because last year I don't think I saw 4 the entire summer. I don't think I saw the first bee until August. So that was a nightmare. Nightmare is now over, but this is what I'm using. Yes, I did some research, and these are all repellent. So you don't have to use this large one here. I'm going to probably end up making up 2 or 3 more of these. I get these 8 cartons from friends and relatives and neighbors because I have chickens, and whenever they have extra, some of my relatives live far away, so they can't get eggs from me on a regular basis, and when they do get eggs, they bring me several of these. So I have more than what I need, way more than what I need. So at any rate, there's no particular measurement. You can actually poke holes in the bottom of these. Now your question is probably, why am I using these? Years ago, when I had a problem with critters in the garden, I used something called Irish Spring. Irish Spring soap. It has a strong scent, keeps the critters away, but when it rains, you have to reapply it. Same thing with all these. When it rains, you sprinkle these around, and when it rains, you have to go and reapply and reapply and reapply. And I think you guys are probably ahead of me, and you know what I'm going to do and what I'm going to tell you. These are, I guess you can call these plastic. It's not really considered cardboard, but when I know it's going to rain, I just close it. So now it's protected. The water's going to run off, and then when the rain stops, just reopen it. So I'm going to set this down where I know, based on from my trail cam, I know where these critters are coming, and I'll just leave this like that. Well, maybe not, because we're supposed to get more rain today. But at any rate, you get the idea. You put these around. Most of you guys probably have garlic powder, chili powder. I don't use crushed red pepper flakes, but the Frugal son-in-law does. So this is just a generic store brand. I usually go upscale for him, but this is something that I'm using specifically for this. And I'll put this one probably over here somewhere. And as I said, you know, when you know you're going to have good weather, we're supposed to have rain today and rain tomorrow. And once that rain is over, I'll come out and I'll reopen these. But for now, this is what it looks like. This is hopefully going to be the answer to my prayers. I forgot to bring out coffee grounds. I put coffee grounds in here also, and that is lavender. So everything that I know these buggers don't like. There's the traps that I'm using. I'm going to probably stop using because, like I said, it just, it's just not effective. So the lavender, the coffee grounds, and now there's more lavender here. Now, this is what I'm hoping will do the trick, and they'll get the message. It'll scare them off. They'll go elsewhere, and that'll make my life a lot easier. So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video today. Sorry about being late, but weather and other issues have gotten in the way. So I'm back, and I hope that you pass this video on. Please click like, post your comments, your questions. I'm really looking forward to reading them and answering every single one of them. So thanks again. I'm the Frugal Gardener. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys in a couple days on the flip side. Enjoy the rest of your day.